met Antonio first on the road. I started in the first precinct and he started in the second precinct. But we really got to know him when we worked together in auto crime. He came in, hit the ground running. And at that time I was in auto crime for I want to say about 4 or 5 years. So it was a little burnt out, a little bit like, all right, I'm ready to move on to the next assignment. When V came in, it gave me a different bounce. You know, it was fun. I had a homeboy now. We kicked it. We had a ball.
If there was a picture of somebody who was a quiet leader, it would have been Tony. He was so calm, never got rattled, never got excited. He was just somebody that, especially in the reserves, guys just took to him right away, took a liking to him.
Always kind of reserved type personality, you know, but you can tell that he was, you know, about business. You know, he loved doing police work. So always had not a mean look on his face, but, you know, the look on his face like, hey, I'm ready to go to work. Hopefully you guys are ready to go to work as well.
Tony was a very, very serious guy. He was a very serious guy. I used to do things to try to get him to smile because he would never smile, and he would probably break a smile for a minute, but you know, it wasn't long before he would get that serious look back on his face. And very quiet, and Tony just worked hard, did his job, and in doing so, he was able to obtain a number of positions within the department.
I met Tony in early 2008. We were patrolmen in the North County precinct when he was assigned to our unit, to the street team. We became very close. Tony is a humble warrior, I would call him. People don't know him like that, and I got a chance to see that every day.
Tony and I met actually in the Air Force Reserves. He had joined our unit one weekend, and kind of gave each other a look like, you look familiar, where do I know you from? And as we got to talk and realized that you know, we were both employed with the county police department, obviously in different units, but you know, probably saw each other someplace, somewhere, and didn't put 2 and 2 together until he joined our unit. You know, he told me about being in the Army, and he'd deployed to Iraq, and he had a lot of experience, and that was something that I knew we were going to find very valuable, because we had a lot of younger guys, you know, just out of high school and whatnot, no experience. Just they went to basic training, and then they were coming to reserve weekends, 1 weekend a month. So Tony had a lot of valuable experience to pass on to those guys.
I can remember the exact moment when it transitioned from a friend, or from a coworker to a friend. So it was one day he came over to the house. We invited him over. He had his, I think a couple of his kids with him, a couple of nieces and nephews. When V rode, his whole family rode. He'd keep them all with him. You know, one eat, everybody eat. So it was a good time. So then we got to start getting the kids together and the families together. You know, but this was one particular time. It was at my wife's birthday party or something we had at the house. So it was just the adults. So we're sitting at the dining room table and we're playing a game, charades. I forget the name of the game. So I'm at one end of the table and V is at the other end. So it comes to his turn, and he has this card in his hand, and he gave me this look. So I said, what is he doing? So he gets up from the table, he walks around the corner. So I was like, what is he doing? Next thing you know, you hear somebody running down the hallway through the foyer with his shirt off, spinning it above his head. And I'm looking like, what is this, right? It was so out the ordinary, but it was that moment where we wasn't just partners, we was homeboys. So now that dap was more of aggressive, it was a hug, because I saw him comfortable enough in that light, and I saw the true V. Wasn't the work, the tough guy, the solid, the military guy. It was the V, the funny, goofy, crazy that I've never seen. So, but that's when that transition, that's when it's like, all right, yeah, this is my homeboy now. This is not just a work.
You know, again, I don't think he ever said he was a big brother. You could just tell he was a big brother, and I think he approached all of his relationships that way, that he was just big brother, just kind of looking out for everybody.
He was very funny. So if I did something, he wouldn't, he was also still very reserved. So he didn't make fun of me out loud. He just had this little snicker. I tried to spike a car one day. I slipped and fell. It was very funny. Tony was sitting in the car, and he's watching me. He's just shaking his head when I get back up. I got in the car, and I didn't say a word. He didn't say a word. He just drove off, and he's snickering. And He just looked at me, said, "You all right?" Yep. That was it.
Tony loved his kids. I mean, he was a dedicated father. He always talked about his kids all the time, because I also have sons and daughters, and we would, I guess, compare notes.
Them kids meant the world to him. V would come in, let it be Alicia wanted exclusive Jordan, let it be Jalen had something for football practice, let it be Lit Tony wrestling practice, or Victoria could have came in and asked for an Anheuser-Busch pony. And he probably would have told her no, but the next day he would have came in, "Hey man, we need to find a pony." I promise you, he would have found a way.
Two of the happy memories I got of Tony, again, when we were deployed, of course we got to spend a lot of time together. And where we were at, there was a bunch of mountains around. And being in the Air Force, we didn't get to do any mountain training, so we decided that we were going to take an Air Force training ski excursion to the mountains. So we're on the bunny slopes, both falling down and tripping over each other and whatnot. And the guy was so athletic that as the day progressed and I'm falling down, breaking ribs, like he got it and went down this really tough mountain by himself. He was just natural. He was athletic, coordinated, confident, and you could just do it.
When I got the phone call initially that the incident occurred, said, "Hey, get to the hospital, he's involved in an accident."
So when I get down there, the ambulance pulls up, so I helped them open up the back door, and I see it's Tony in the back, and it's surreal now. It's just like, wow. So not only do we got officers, severely injured, it's the individuals that you're friends with at work with. So I look at him and I say, "What's up, Tony? You good?" And he kind of grins a little bit, and then he throws his arms up, kind of like to give me the pound, like, I'm gonna be okay, but you can tell he's in a lot of pain. So I tell him, I said, "Put your arm down, man. It's gonna be all right." I said, "They're gonna take care of you right now." So I helped get the stretcher out that he was on, and then we helped get him into the hospital.
And I remember seeing him while they were operating on him or doing. So I'm like, he'll get up. He's a solid dude, strong dude. Like, he'll get up. And I remember at one point I saw his hand move. So I'm like, all right, he's messed up, but he'll shake it off, he'll get up.
I saw them performing resuscitation exercises on him, and it was just a lot going on. And I stayed there, I stepped in, I stepped out, continued to see them work on him.
You could tell like when something started getting back, because sounds start to be louder, the movements start to be quicker, things like that.
At one point, they informed myself while I was standing in the room that they had done all that they could do for him and they couldn't bring him back.
And then I can remember when Chief came out and I just saw his face and he kind of just dropped his head. And I was just like, man. And it was just kind of like unreal.
We were there when he passed, and it was just a very sad day. Really hurt me, really hurt my heart.
That's gonna be etched in my mind until I retire. Seeing that, being there, and then having just a few words to say to him at that particular moment, and then what happened afterwards.
We lost a son, a father, a nephew, and a brother. And we grieve with him.
Three words to describe Tony, I would say dedicated. He was dedicated to being a policeman, dedicated to his family. I even say quiet, He didn't speak a lot, He didn't make a lot of noise, but you knew he was there.
Hard worker. Very dedicated to his job. These are more than three words, I know.
Loyalty. Couldn't ask for a better guy. You ask him to do something, most of the time it was already done. In fact, some days I would come in and I'd say, "Hey, Tone, we got to do this." I called him Tone. And he'd say, "I already did it, Sarge." Okay.
Fearless. Loyal. By far one of the most loyal guys I ever met. If he knew that you were interested or needed a hand with something, or you were going through something, or even if your kids need something, he'll research it, look it up. Hey, I saw this. I remember you talking about this. Here, slide this to baby girl. He's incredible dude. Truly incredible dude.
And just an overall good person.
So what I would say to Tony, I would tell him, appreciate the hard work, man. Appreciate the laughs. Just rest easy. We got it from here. And to his kids, don't think that he died in vain. He was a true warrior. The work that he did out here in these streets was definitely seen by the community. He will be missed, and just know, your dad is a hero. So you guys should definitely be proud of him. He's smiling down on you guys from heaven right now.
It would be that I miss him. I love him, I miss him, and I think about him every day.
I told him to rest easy. It's okay. At every chance we get, we'll honor his memory. But we'll protect his legacy at all costs.
The memorial breakfast that we have every year, the main reason for having that breakfast is to give us the opportunity to remind the families of our fallen officers that we will be here to support them for the rest of their lives, that they become a part of the family of St. Louis County. And again, whatever it is that they need, we're here to support them. We work with backstoppers to make sure that they get everything that they need. Yes, it's a time to remember those officers that were killed in the line of duty, those that we will never ever forget, but for the most part it's to remind the families that we're here for them.